Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Breaking Down the Charts by Mining Store. This week's episode is quite exciting. We've had some massive moves, particularly in Bitcoin and Ethereum, which we're going to be running through. And also we've had a lot of members come and join the Mining Store Discord. It seems like a lot of people out there are obviously seeing the advantages of cryptocurrency. And just to highlight that, they're looking at it as more of an alternative financial system from the feedback that I've had from our new members. They're not looking at it as something that they feel like is going to be a universal currency and going to take over or anything like that, but a way to control their own finance and take advantage of something, I suppose, similar to the .com boom, which showed a lot of hope and a lot of, a way that's going to change people's lives. We're talking about the internet here and doing things online, and cryptocurrency is kind of doing that for the financial system. It's providing an alternative way for you to manage and control your own funds, as opposed to using a centralized system like a bank. So really good. That was some cool feedback that I had just from asking people, what got them interested in the space. Obviously, as you can see, there's been a lot of trading going on in the Mining Store Discord here. Plenty of people putting up their own charts, really breaking down between each other what they're seeing. I really like this one here that Squats and Coins posted. It's something that I highlighted in last week's episode. Digibyte really playing out this descending wedge. A descending wedge, for those who don't know, when you tend to get this top at this flat top and this ascending triangle forming off a big pump. We tend to bounce up and down between, and then as we get to the end of the triangle, what tends to happen is it tends to break out to the north. Now, no technical analysis ever 100% correct, but when these play out, they do tend to play out quite well. I did actually find one on Bitcoin not too long ago. Might even see if I can quickly find it. Well, yeah, literally right here was the latest pump out was an ascending wedge. As you can see, it kind of had this pump up here, got this flat top here, and a triangle at the bottom. I'll draw it in for those who can't see that. That triangle right there. And as you can see, we started to kind of pump out, and then break out the top of this triangle here, okay? So that's kind of like what we're looking for on this Digibyte chart. We'll look at that in a bit more detail. Some people are even, trading assets that I don't particularly like fundamentally, but they're picking up on some great technical analysis points there. XRP being one of them that Goatleg a newer member has highlighted. So yeah, definitely worth getting involved here, guys. As always, I'll leave the 7-day free trial in the description of the video. There's no harm in jumping in, meeting everyone. There's hundreds and hundreds of members in here, which are all phenomenal and going to help you grow in this space. So definitely jump in there, guys, but let's get cracking into those charts. So one thing that I actually just highlighted on a LinkedIn post that I posted this morning was that Bitcoin although Bitcoin is what comes to the front attention of the media all the time and probably the bigger groups and Twitter posts, what you'll actually notice is Bitcoin has underperformed to Ethereum this whole year. So the start of January being marked right here on my charts. You can see that Ethereum has actually outperformed Bitcoin. It's on this upward trend. Now, I honestly think that Ethereum is probably one of the most respectable projects in this space. It's the DeFi kind of project. It operates with smart contracts. There's a lot of other projects that are hosted on top of Ethereum. They've got a phenomenal team. Vitalik Buterin is probably one of the most respected people in the cryptocurrency industry. I really think that Ethereum has got a really bright future going forward. So I urge even those beginners who are kind of buying their first Bitcoin to get some exposure to Ethereum. And as we mentioned, a couple of times, Ethereum is going into its 2.0 phase, where it's going to move away from proof of work and into proof of stake. And what we're actually going to see happen there is you're going to be able to lock up 32 Ethereum at a time and earn interest on that, which is a really great feature. A lot of people like to earn a dividend or earn a yield on their investment and not just hold for a long time and only be exposed to capital gains. They like to get that reward bit by bit as they go, okay? So yeah, Ethereum, really, really great coin. I just wanted to highlight that, as you can see, over the past year, although Bitcoin gets a lot of the attention, Ethereum has actually outperformed. Going back to Bitcoin though, so there's a couple of things that I've highlighted here. This is the long-term downward trend that we broke through when Ethereum had that kind of breakout candle right here. So broke out of that top long-term downward trend, which hadn't really been done for many years. So that's a very, very bullish signal to me. I'm feeling quite good about Bitcoin right now. Yes, it may pull back down to this 10K territory. It's definitely possible. But overall, I feel less inclined to say that it's going to, people that, are sitting with entry entry orders at 7,000 or lower. I don't see that happening unless we get another market capitulation, which very well could happen, but we can't predict the future. But yeah, overall, I think Bitcoin is looking really strong in this current market. Now, if we zoom in a little bit closer, we can see that we got this really big capitulation candle over the weekend. It's quite a substantial drop there, down from 12,000 all the way down to around about the 10,900 mark, a solid 10 or 9% drop. Now, the reason for this candle, guys, for those of you that are out there that like to understand what actually caused these pumps or dumps, the reason for this was most likely to do with some big margin traders getting closed out of positions, also closing off long positions. So when you buy and eventually you want to take profits, you have to sell Bitcoin, and that puts market pressure. So that's one reason, but also from what I'm hearing, a lot of the large margin platforms which offer leverage, so you can leverage your trade 10 times, 20 times, 50 times, all the way up to 100 times. A lot of those got frozen over the weekend due to the market kind of crashing, and this caused a lot of fear, and a lot of people that kind of obviously sold out of their positions. So yeah, not a great thing, when exchanges get frozen out and people can't even adjust their positions. It's one reason why I encourage people to actually, not really use leverage unless they're very experienced, and definitely not using your whole portfolio in leverage. I strongly encourage people to have the majority of their portfolio in physical, or not necessarily physical, or digital holding, where you've got the private keys, it's sitting in a wallet, whether it's a Trezor or whatever it is. And then if you really want to engage in margin trading, you can do that with, say, 10% of the value of your portfolio, just as an example. So yeah, just a bit of heads up what happened there, why that capitulated. Some people, obviously real beginners, might be like, oh, is it going to start crashing down now? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But yeah, that's not exactly something that really has me too scared at the moment. I'll definitely do an update if we do start to see some more downward trending. But I do think we'll kind of catch support at least down on this support line here, or potentially we'll start trading sideways for a bit and keep going up. I wouldn't be surprised if we got around to the 14,000 US mark. However, if we start, increasing really quickly, and you start hearing, your mum and dad investors, or, a lot of people use the term like a taxi driver, or your auntie, or whoever it is who's not, usually much of a trader, starting to say, oh, should I buy some of this Bitcoin, or should I buy Ethereum? These people that really don't, they're just taking a pure punt based on FOMO. That's when it is usually a pretty good sign for you to at least taking some dollar cost average out, take some of your profits, or hedge your positions, okay? If you don't know how to do any of those things, obviously this is the best place, I think, to find out how to do it and seek advice. We've got classic quant analysis, someone that I think is probably the most reliable for hedging strategies, who can actually conduct hedging strategies for you, is Grant MD. He's the motor of the CEO of the Mind Digital Exchange. Personally, myself and Cal as a business, we received a large order for Bitcoin not too long ago. We didn't want to be exposed to Bitcoin for the whole duration of time before we had to put the order in with our supplier to buy the miners, and so we actually had a short on Bitcoin, which hedged our position. We made sure that we secured the dollar value that we were exposed to on Bitcoin for about 2 weeks. Grant was the one who did that. All I did was message him and say, hey mate, do you mind putting a hedge on this Bitcoin position? He said, absolutely not a problem. And then he closed off the hedge when I was ready to buy the miners. So yeah, really good. If you're not comfortable doing it yourself, you can definitely engage with Grant and take advantage of these kind of services, or have him show you how to do it on his platform, okay? Now, moving on to just back to Ethereum, obviously things have been looking really, really great for Ethereum. We've definitely kind of pushed out of this upward trend here and holding that position. We're outperforming Bitcoin. What I might do is just grab the BTC USD chart up as well, just have a look at how things are looking over there. And absolutely things are skyrocketing. We've even broken through this support area on the 362, which I mentioned on the last video, which is phenomenal. Really, really good to see, guys. That 362 was my next target, and we've pushed through that. Now we could be looking at potentially getting up to these levels here at the 548. I honestly think it will take a bit of time to do this. I would want to break probably the 413 mark before I saw that happen. So maybe getting a little bit excited there, but 416. If we start, pushing above that 400 mark, I think it's possible that we're going to start trading in between. Again, guys, I'm not very confident in the global circumstances, particularly here in Australia, in Melbourne. We've just gone into stage 4 lockdown. This is going to impact a lot of businesses, and the government can't just keep pushing stimulus out forever. I do think that there is going to come a time where a lot of that stimulus, wears off. Bank restrictions wear off as well, and people are going to unfortunately start defaulting on loans, defaulting on high risk assets, and this could be quite dangerous for the cryptocurrency industry. So it's always good to be aware of the greater picture, not just to get engrossed in things are going great. Be aware of where risk is on, and be ready to have those protective measures like hedging ability. If you don't want to sell all of your crypto, you've said to yourself, no, I'm going to hold this for 5 years. You may want to contact someone like Grant and say, could you at least just hedge my position for the moment? Things are a little bit wild, and give yourself security to take time to see where the market's going to go. Then you can take the hedge off. You may lose out, or you're not technically losing because you've hedged. You may lose out on potential profits if it does go further up, but you can always close off that hedge. So that's probably the lesson for today, guys. Get in touch with someone like Grant from Mind Digital. Get involved with the Mining Store Discord, meet the right people, be around the right people, verify your strategy, and don't do this on your own. Everyone that's currently in the Mining Store community, definitely message Grant and make sure you've got those kind of things set up in advance. You don't want to be scrambling at the last minute going, Bitcoin's falling and I'm not 100% sure what I should do right now. Have a chat to him and his team and make sure you've got all those tools in place to hedge your positions if you need to. Okay. Moving on from Bitcoin and Ethereum. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm just going to clear my throat 1 second. Put the mic on mute for a second there. All right, so moving into LOKI. So LOKI, as we all know, had this massive pump. They were releasing a DeFi project. I'm actually going to be interviewing Simon Harmon this week and giving everyone a bit more of a breakdown on what it is that LOKI is actually looking to do in this DeFi space. So yeah, obviously we got a massive pump off there. Now, I've got some resources where I am tracking the amount of nodes that are on the LOKI network and when some of them are deregistering. And we're coming up to a period where we're going to see quite a few more nodes being deregistered, and we could see a bit of a sell-off. Honestly, I don't think the sell-off is going to be too drastic. I think because the price has already come down, those people that deregistered their nodes and now have free LOKI to sell, they're probably going to look at this and go, oh, it's not really that great of a profit anymore. I mean, it is. It still is potentially up 70% from where they deregistered if they deregistered early. But nevertheless, I don't think we're going to get a massive sell-off. I think it is a good chance we could remain in this upward trend. However, always prepared, not necessarily for the worst, but always prepared that if it does come down here, I may even pick up another node down here. Or if it came down even lower, I'd definitely look to pick one up here. I picked one up here just before the boom. I think a lot of you people saw that. So that was really great. But I've got that locked up. I didn't sell any off here. I sold some yields off at this top end. I've got a couple nodes running for myself, and I reduced my exposure at the top end with my liquid coins. But yeah, the nodes is a long-term investment for me. I'm not really interested in kind of selling, breaking off my node and selling it every time there's a pump. It just means I kind of take the nature of a passive investment away. The way I'm looking at LOKI is more to hold until we get to a stable of $1 per coin. And potentially if the yields come below around 10% per year, they're currently about 25 or 26% per year. If they come below 10%, I may start going, oh, look, I'll start closing off my positions. But at the moment, more than happy with this investment as a passive investment, earning 26% yield per year and just selling my yields off at these high points, okay? It's a bit more on LOKI. Moving on to Dogecoin. Probably not really going to comment on Dogecoin. I'm not entering back in. The reason I originally was in it is because I was recognizing that we were just bouncing up and down between this trend. We had this massive breakout, and I sold off my last position, and now we have broken back down into this kind of consolidated area. Unless we get below this mark here, which was the bottom of my original trend line, I may pick some up and hope that we start to end that pump wave again. It's purely technical analysis that I'm following here, which is not usually what I do. I usually do quite a bit of fundamental analysis, then check the charts. But this was a pure TA trade. And as I say, I won't really be looking to enter unless we come down to this bottom level here. Okay. Moving on to RSR. So RSR, I didn't actually buy in on this point here. I'm still waiting. I'm not 100% confident in what's going on with the project at the moment. Long term, I really like the project, but I'm still waiting for my re-entry. I still think that we could kind of test down a bit lower, and I'll let everyone know if I do jump back in. Handshake is a coin that we're mining. Not really much to comment on Handshake at the moment. Things, as you can see, kind of look a little bit boring. I'm waiting for a bit of a wick up above these moving averages, and then I'll start to cover a little bit more on Handshake. Going into TRB. So one of the members mentioned to me this morning that they were looking to take a position on TRB over the weekend. I think they actually did. They would have done quite well. Now, the analysis that they conducted was TRB is a part of like the Oracle coins. And if you don't know what Oracle coins are, then you can probably read a good link on Medium about it all. But they saw that Chainlink had some nice wicks up. Chainlink's in the top 10 coin guys. It's definitely the most reputable Oracle coin out there. The largest as well. It's got the most support behind it, most development. And when you see, coins within the same industry starting to pump, you can start to pick up some of the smaller ones. So Squats and Coins was the one that mentioned it to me. He obviously saw that Chainlink started having a pump, and so he thought, I'm going to take a position on Teller, and he's done very well from that. He's been able to pick up and ride this wave here. So that's a really cool strategy. I like that one. It actually, was something that was mentioned in our Discord group not too long ago, that the reason why Teller was having this massive pump was because Chainlink had a pump. So really good analysis there, making a symmetry. Overall, TRB looks to be back in this kind of mid to upper term trend line right now. I don't think that we're going to break out the top of it. I think we're just going to, similar to what we have been, just keep on bouncing in between this one, potentially see some upside or downside. But we are leading into version 2, which is going to require 6,000 coins to be locked up to host a node instead of 1,000. So there could be some buying pressure there, as well as more supply being locked up. That, along with the emission curve, as I've mentioned nearly in every episode now, being on quite a decreasing emission curve, which means new supply going into the market is decreasing quickly. I think that TRB has some great tokenomics to be a good long-term hold, but then also not being non-biased, I'm not exactly happy with how they're conducting their nodes at the moment. There's a lot of nodes being disputed, well, not a lot, but there's some nodes being disputed, and the reason for the dispute is not very clear, and people are losing out on 1,000 TRB. If your node gets disputed, you actually lose your coin. So yeah, not exactly too happy with that, but I'm working with the team on this one, so quite close to the project. I'll give an update at every Breaking Down the Charts episode to make sure you guys are kept in the loop with what's going on. But yeah, from a technical analysis point of view, I think things are good for a buy, and just being non-biased, I do think there are some issues at the moment, which hopefully, and I do have confidence, will be fixed. Okay. Moving on to DigiByte. So yeah, DigiByte's really looking good to break out the top here. I've already had my positions from mining, so I haven't really bought too much more in on the dips, although I know the community in the Mining Store Discord has been buying in on these dips down the bottom of this trend line. So that's really good trading by them, guys. Obviously, I don't have time to pick up every single possible trade, but nevertheless, there's always a heap of trades going through the Mining Store Discord, and people are always having new ideas. So, if you really like something that you see, you might like this Ripple trade that Goatleg is conducting. You can by all means do your own research and jump on that one. Personally, I'm not. I'm trading plenty of my own assets, but there are always times where someone mentions something and I will jump on it as well. So yeah, definitely worth having a look at something like this. If you want to take a small position and go for that play where it breaks out the top of this ascending wedge, by all means you can do that. Otherwise, a lot of us have already kind of been gathering our positions at the bottom of this trend line as we've been going on. So yeah, I think DigiByte could be really cool. Hopefully, maybe even by next week, we've broken out the top and we can cover that. If we don't, obviously, there's always that risk, but that's what trading is about, weighing up the probability of something happening, doing your own research, and obviously then conducting the trade with an entry and exit strategy. Not going to comment on CKB at the moment. I think that's pretty much it for today, guys. That's everything that I wanted to cover. There was a couple compound we took a position in actually. Just waiting. This was just a pure TA play on. There's a classic way that IPOs, ICOs, new projects basically play out. They have massive pumps, then they have huge retracements, and you tend to see kind of life being formed again on the trading side of things down in this 23% fib line. So I took a position on compound, just going to wait for recovery. Bit of a just a pure TA play here, but nothing really to report there. That's just the compound USD. And then PERLIN was a project that we got in. Again, they were looking to release a bit of a DeFi project, starting to see some consolidation here. We may see a bit of a further breakup, but honestly, we've pretty much hit my target almost at the 100% retracement level. I also would like I'm going to hopefully maybe sell off 50% as we start breaking into above the 100% level and have closed all my positions by the 1.618 line. That's it for today, guys. I wish you all the best with your trading. As I say, make sure you come and join the Mining Store Discord. You have absolutely nothing to lose. 7-day free trial in there. There's amazing people you're going to meet. There's amazing resources that you can tap into. So I strongly recommend that. If you've got any questions before, or I suppose after you join the trial, you can message anyone in our team here. So we've got Cal, we've got Hayden, we've got Henry. Hayden and Henry are account managers. Jules is one of our analysts who's been with us since the beginning of time. A great member of our community. And then we've got some guys from our Forex business, the Forex Kings, that help out in the Forex channels. And we've got myself as well. There's community managers in here along with 100 other members which you can get to know. So definitely jump in here, guys. A very safe place for you to get a non-biased perspective on the cryptocurrency industry and also pick up on some cool trading ideas. There's crypto cards that people are talking about. Anything to do with crypto will be mentioned in here, and anything that's kind of headline news such as DeFi projects, crypto cards. Obviously there's a coronavirus discussion. You can jump in here and really get involved with the right people and learn a lot about both the crypto space and other things too. So that's it for today. All the best, guys, and thanks for tuning in. All the best.